Welcome back. Now we turn our focus to the aviation industry, which seems to be going through a crisis at the moment. If you recall, a few years ago, AMCON took over Aero Contractors, Nigeria's first indigenous operator, and it seems that all have really gone awry for the airlines, because they announced that they were temporarily shutting down this week. So what's going to happen to that particular airline? And in the course of the week, we also heard that First Nation was shutting down its doors temporarily. Workers on the job market again. We also know that some airlines have pulled their services out of Nigeria, among them being United Airlines. And even those who come, international airlines who come to Nigeria, are coming less frequently than they used to. Being cited, of course, among other things, is inability to repatriate their funds, cost of aviation fuel, and we heard that many airlines now have to go to neighboring Ghana to refuel their airplanes. All of that, you know, we've just been talking about the economy. Those are the things that are affecting our economy. But we have experts in the studio to look at this with us this morning. Experts from the industry. We have the Managing Director of Airpeace, Alan Onyema. Good morning.
I'm the chairman, I'm not the managing director.
Chairman, Airpeace,
yeah.
Alan Onyema. Thank you very much.
I have a managing director.
Okay. And we also have the Vice President of the Air Transport Services Senior Staff Association of Nigeria, Mr. Ilitrus Ahmadu. Thank you very much for joining us.
Good morning.
And joining us from our studios in Abuja will be the Director Operations and Training of NCAA, Abdullahi Sidi. Good morning, and thank you for joining us.
Good morning. Thank you very much for having me.
Good. Now, let me begin with the chairman of Airpeace. The industry says it's going through its worst crisis at the moment, and airlines are shutting down. What exactly are the issues?
Well, the issues are very myriad. There are myriads of problems, affecting the industry. Some of them are self-inflicted. Some of them also as a result of the operating environment, which is very, very harsh. A lot of people really don't understand what it takes to run, or what it takes to be in the aviation industry in the first place. In Nigeria, a lot of negatives are stacked against you even before you start. So most Nigerian airlines are dead on arrival. Not necessarily because of their own issues, but because of the operating environment, which is very, very harsh. And over the years, even before I got into the fray, people have been complaining, but there seems to be no solution. I mean, the people who are supposed to address them are not addressing them. Again, I said self-inflicted, because the way and manner some of these airlines are run, I mean, nothing to write home about. So, if you want to borrow money, Nigerians are very greedy. You don't borrow for what you don't need. You borrow in accordance with your needs. When you borrow out of tune, definitely it's going to affect you someday, because these are depositors' money. So some of the airlines took funds and maybe they didn't even need, or maybe diverted. You do this kind of thing, it's going to affect you. If you need to borrow 10 billion and you borrow 50 billion, where are you going to apply the other extra 40 billion? Someday you must account for it. So some of these are the problems. Nigerian airlines go abroad to take leases. They lease aircraft from abroad, and they don't want to pay the lessors their rentals. What do you expect? Some of these things are debilitating. I mean, in the long run, we are paying for it, because in Nigeria you need to have all the money you can amass to buy your aircraft, because the lessors out there are not ready to deal with Nigerian entities. And this is also affecting us. The bigger people, the people before us, they've really done a huge damage to the image of the industry in this country, because you cannot access financing from outside this country because they tell you, the ones we gave to so and so, they've not been able to pay back. You cannot find it very easy to get lessors to lease planes to you. And all over the world, people, airlines lease. You cannot go it all alone. But in Nigeria, you find it difficult to lease aircraft because the lessors are not ready to deal with you, because they don't know if they will actually get the plane back.
Yeah, but Mr. Yama, this didn't seem to affect your entry into the fray, because Peace is one of the newest airlines. Yeah. So you're giving us all this background. Those before you have done this and that, and there are all these minuses, but you still went into it.
Yeah, because that's what I'm trying to say. First of all, what is the reason for your going into? If you're going into commercial scheduled flight operations with the mindset of making money, then you've missed it. You have to understand from the one that is not a profit-making venture. Immediate profit. He must have passion for it. Again, you must be patient to wait for at least 7 years. But when you go into it, you find out that so many entrepreneurs go into it thinking they will get money the same day. And you have a lot of inflow coming in from ticket sales, and you see it is large. Believe you me, just one maintenance will take everything you've got. So if you don't plan very well, you have to lay a solid foundation, first of all, and tell yourself that, look, I'm going into this, in the next 5 years, I'm not touching any penny from it. So you start doing things and people will be wondering where you're getting money from. But the thing is that the foundation has already been laid. Then again, you have to have integrity. If you take money from any bank, for goodness sake, find a way of paying back. Like in EPIS, what we did is to create a sinking fund for our bank, Fidelity. That's what we did. So it doesn't really bother me. At the end of the month, I don't even know when they've taken their money. For example, if I have to pay them 50 million every month, the payment of my loans, say 50 million every month. And I created a sinking fund, which I don't even have control of, saying that every day take 5 million from my receipts, automatically put in that sinking fund. At the end of the month, you're having 150 million there. They take their 50 million, and that 100 million is there as a reserve. So you find out that you are even ready to pay off all your loans even earlier, before the maturity, and the bank will now be telling you, no, let's leave it matures because they want to make more money. But that is the power of integrity. Then of course you create a maintenance reserve. You don't spend into your receipts carelessly. You create a maintenance reserve. Okay. The maintenance reserve helps you to maintain your planes. Okay. So you don't have the issues of planes being dumped here and there, and you're not able to do anything about it. But then there are challenges that are also not the fault of the airlines. We talk about double taxation. You talk about lack of maintenance facilities in the country. You talk of lack of night flying capabilities in this country. Every aircraft is supposed to be in the air almost 2/3 of the time in the day. But in Nigeria, by 6 p.m., your aircraft is already aircraft on ground, AOG, technically on ground, because there are no flying avenues for you.
Okay.
So
okay. Let's bring in Mr. Amadu at this point. You have spoken as an owner. Let us hear from the staff.
Thank you so much. I think Mr. Onyema spoke extensively on some of the problems, but suffice to say that we're in recession and the airline industry is not immune. Now, like he said, there are variable factors that account for the present situation. Fundamentally, if you look at the history, most of the airlines that have gone down in this country, there's something that is common to them. Like he said, most people come into this business without adequate preparation and planning, doing real-time feasibility and what it takes to run an airline. Now, we have a situation where most of the airlines in this country have two 1, 2, 3 aircraft, and you are in scheduled commercial operations. Now, I think a lot of them, you expect that with time, as they operate, they will put money into fleet expansion. They would put money into, like he said, maintenance,